The federal budget just changed the rules on residential property investing, and every property investor in Australia is trying to figure out what that means for them. Negative gearing on new established residential purchases is getting limited to new builds from July 2027. The CGT discount is being replaced with an inflation-adjusted model. And trust distributions are facing 30% minimum on tax from 2028. I sold 7 of my residential properties years ago and bought a single commercial shopping centre. That one property generates more passive income than my entire residential portfolio ever did. And none of these budget changes actually affects it. So while everyone's panicking about what the budget means for residential, I want to show you why commercial property was already a better play for most investors and why I think demand for commercial is about to accelerate because of what the budget just did to the residential playbook. I want to be fair about this because the residential investing strategy that's now under pressure generally worked for a long time. The playbook was straightforward. You'd buy a residential property, and in most cases, the rent wouldn't cover all the costs. So you'd run at a loss each year. But you could claim that loss against your income as a tax deduction through negative gearing, which meant the government was effectively subsidizing part of your holding costs. Then you'd hold the property for capital growth, and when you eventually sold it, you'd only pay tax on half that gain because of the 50% CGT discount. Millions of Australians built real wealth this way, and I was one of them. I started with residential, I had 9 properties at one point, and the strategy was working on paper. So I get why the budget feels like a punch in the guts for a lot of people, because the government is pulling back on 2 things the entire strategy was built around. It's a big deal and I don't want to pretend otherwise. But if you actually sit down and run the numbers on a typically negatively geared residential investment without those tax benefits, the picture changes fast. Take a $1 million residential property investment in a capital city. The rent might be, say, $500 a week, so around 26 grand a year. Your mortgage at current rates on an 80% loan is roughly 48 grand. And then you've got council rates, insurance, property management, maintenance, strata if it's a unit. You're looking at around total cost of 60, 65 grand a year against what, 26 grand rent? That's a shortfall of what? 35, 40 grand every year, and the negative gearing deduction was softening that blow. If you're on a marginal tax rate of say 37%, that deduction was saving you somewhere around 13 to 15 grand a year. So your real out-of-pocket cost was more like 22,000 to 25 grand a year, which most investors could stomach because of the capital growth would eventually make up for it. Now, let's take that deduction away if you're buying an existing property already. Your actual annual cost jumps back up to that 35 to 40 grand out of pocket. And on the other end, your capital gains tax discount on the way out is changing too. The whole cost just went up and the exit became less attractive at the same time. If those tax incentives were the thing that were making the investment viable, the investment was always fragile anyway. The budget didn't break anything that was generally strong. It exposed the strategies that were depending on government policy to stay above water. And as everyone's just found out, government policy can change with one announcement. Now, put a commercial property next to that same $1 million residential investment, and the comparison's a bit more interesting. A $1 million commercial property, say a small warehouse or an industrial unit, will typically yield somewhere between 5 and 6% net. That's 50 to 60 grand a year in rent. And in commercial, that's net means it's actual net because the tenant pays council rates, water rates, outgoings, insurance, property management, things like that. They're the tenant's responsibility in a standard commercial lease. So the rent you see is close to the rent you keep getting. Your mortgage on the same 70% loan at the current rates is around 42 grand a year. So you've got around 50, 60 grand coming in and around 42 grand going out, which means the property is putting 8,000 to 18,000 in your pocket from settlement. No tax deduction needed, no reliance on the government to make the numbers work. The cash flow carries investment from week 1. On top of that, your rent increases are locked into the lease. Most commercial leases have either a fixed annual increase of 3 to 4% or sometimes CPI-linked reviews, so your income goes up every year regardless of what the market's doing. And your leases terms are longer, 5 years, 10 years, sometimes even longer, which means you're not turning over tenants every 12 months or paying vacancy costs or releasing fees the way you do with residential. The budget changes to negative gearing, CGT, trust taxation don't affect a single number on the commercial side because commercial property was never reliant on those incentives in the first place. There's nothing to take away. I made this exact switch years before anyone was talking about budget changes. I owned 9 residential properties and then they looked great on paper, high net worth, growing equity, ticking every box, but the cash flow was poor. The management was constant. And when interest rates moved, the numbers got uncomfortably real quick. I didn't feel wealthy despite having this huge portfolio on paper, and I was spending more time dealing with property managers and maintenance than I was enjoying the income. So I sold 7 of them and bought a shopping centre in Queensland for $3.175 million. I put a 50% deposit down, which goes against everything the property education world tells you to do. They say put down like as little as possible because if you buy properties, you want to leverage your money. But I wasn't trying to own more properties. I was trying to generate enough passive income to work 4 days a week and spend the rest of the time with my kids, which is strapped to me right now. That shopping center generates around 100 grand a year in passive income when I bought it, and now it's up to around 120, 130 grand passive in just a couple years later. I stress tested at 12.91% interest rates, and it's still cash flow positive. It'll be fully paid off in around 5-6 years using its own income. And at that point, the passive income jumps from around 300 grand a year from one single asset. To generate 100 grand in passive income from residential property, you need like a 10 mil portfolio. More loans, more tenants, more maintenance, more risk just generally across the board. And after this budget, less favorable tax treatment on top of all of it. The budget validated this decision, but the reasoning was never about tax. It was about cash flow and lifestyle and building something that doesn't depend on the government policy to work. I wanted an investment I could hold through any interest rate environment without losing sleep. And that's what I got. I'm literally watching this shift happen in real time. 2 years ago, my team was buying commercial property for clients at net yields of 6.5%. Today, we're working hard to find anything to 5%. Yields are compressing because more capital is chasing the same stock, and the supply of good commercial property isn't increasing to match. We filmed a video on Sydney's northern beaches recently and looked at 3 commercial properties. One of them sold within 48 hours of going on the market. When you add what the government just did to the residential playbook, that 48-hour selling time is going to start looking normal because every residential investor who runs their post-budget numbers doesn't like what they see and is going to start asking what else is out there. And a lot of them are probably going to land on commercial. That means more competition for the same stock. More competition means yields compress further, and compressed yields mean you pay more for the same cash flow. I want to be clear about something though. Because I don't want anyone watching this and panic sell their residential portfolio based on one video, residential property in good locations with genuine demand isn't going to collapse. People still need homes, the population is still growing, supply is still constrained in most capital cities, and if you own a residential property in a strong area and you're holding long term, the budget changes are manageable, particularly because existing holdings are grandfathered. What I'm saying is that the investors who bought residential primarily for the tax outcome, the negative gearing deductions and the CGT tax discount, need to take a serious look whether the strategy still makes sense going forward, because the rules have changed and they could even change again. And if your actual goal is passive income and lifestyle, if what you're trying to do is build enough cash to flow to work less, retire early, just have more freedom on how you spend your time, then commercial property was already a stronger vehicle for that before the budget. The budget just made the gap wider. Every strong investment I've seen in the last 15 years had the same things in common: good location, constrained supply, genuine tenant demand, and an owner who would hold through cycles. None of them are bought for the depreciation schedule, and none of them needed a tax refund to stay viable. If these changes push investors away from buying property for the tax outcome and towards buying asset quality and cash flow, probably a good thing for investors. I personally think commercial demand is about to accelerate, and the window to buy in today's market and yields is probably getting shorter. If you've been considering it, the budget just made a case for you. Book a call with my team. We'll look at your situation, your numbers, and whether commercial actually makes sense for what you're trying to achieve. Left a link in the description. And if you want to understand commercial property before you talk to anyone, I've got a free 10-hour course, free books, free calculators that I'll give you a solid foundation. Links are below. Cheers, guys.